Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is, of course, Queen C. Bingston, your caregiver supporter right here. And we are, coming in today, and we're going to be talking about Social Security and some of the new changes that have taken place. And we just want to kind of be up to date and informed on what is going on. I'm going to put the chat open for a minute just in case someone drops by and have a question. And hopefully with this video, this information, we'll be able to answer some of the questions for you. And I'm going to suggest that you really follow this guy. He actually is encouraging us to get this information out. He's up on it. He's a retired Social Security worker, and he knows all about it. It's what he's done. And he's dedicated his time now to just help us. So first of all, let me just share with you, even though I have on my God is Good shirt today, I'm Queen C. Pinkston, your caregiver supporter, and I support caregivers around the world, basically family caregivers. And then we even narrow it down to Black family caregivers. So and there's something in here for everybody, but sometimes in the Black family, there's some cultures, there's some things that we deal with that others might not. So we try to cover those. So in this one, we're going to be talking about the recent changes to Social Security and what kind of significant implications maybe it could have upon you as a caregiver. And he's not going to specifically say caregivers in the video. He's going to talk across the board. He's also going to do some Q&A questions that people will call in for. So let's go ahead and let him get started, and then we'll come back. All right.
They tried to end phone service completely, but then they got pushed back. They said, no, you can't end phone service. You can't make people go. And this is their second attempt. Says, okay, well, if you don't let us end phone service, then we're going to pretend like there's a whole bunch of fraud. And so therefore that justifies us to make people go into the office, which, again, it's going to prevent a lot of people from getting their benefits. And people are going to hate Social Security and not trust it anymore. And they succeeded in exactly their plan. So can you clarify, if you don't have internet and you have to go into an office, you still need to call first to make an appointment, right? Yes. There are exceptions based on a policy when they switched, because of the 50-year low in terms of staffing, they switched to basically an appointment only thing. But there are exceptions. If it's like a PR thing, if it's congressional, that means you called your congressperson and, the congressperson is involved. If it's a dire need, you're going to be homeless or evicted or something like that. They do have those exceptions in there. So maybe, if you have to go down to your local office and, you call and schedule an appointment.
Okay, so guys, so I'm going to stop that just for a minute. And I want to get him to actually bring in maybe the introduction of what exactly he's talking about. So let's see, can we replace this one? Let's go with this one and see.
All intents and purposes is broken
and
broke. I'm trying to figure out what word to use for the news that just came out. So if you're unaware, there was a press release that just came out that under the excuse, the reason, the whatever of fraud, stopping fraud, which I've never really seen this happen, maybe once every few years or so. It's one of those things where it's, the reason we have to take off our shoes at the airport is because one guy, tried to light his shoes on fire, but that's just an inconvenience. People on this thing are actually going to be losing money and suffering. The most vulnerable amongst us are going to be hurt the worst. So basically the new policy that just came out from DOJ, and this is a DOJ thing because the acting commissioner of Social Security is a DOJ guy. He said he is taking his orders from DOJ. And over the next 2 weeks, Social Security will carefully transition. Yeah, there's nothing careful about this. To a stronger identity proofing procedures for both benefit claims and direct deposit changes. Individuals seeking these services who cannot use their personal My Social Security account, which requires online identity proofing, will then need to visit a local Social Security office to prove their identity in person. So the result of this is going to be, if you file online, which, I always recommend file online, check your earnings record and everything. If you're looking for spouse benefits, Medicare, retirement benefits on your own record, survivor spouse, you can't file online. You always had to do it, over the phone or in person. So if you can't do it online, and you have to do it on the phone, because there's a lot of people out there that don't have internet access. They don't know how to use the internet. Congress used to provide money for vulnerable populations to help them get internet access, it was like $30 or $40 or so per month, but they stopped that. So a lot of people had to cancel their internet because they couldn't get access. They couldn't pay for it. So if you're one of those vulnerable populations that can't do it online, you will have to visit a Social Security office to get your claim processed and your direct deposit. And why do I say that's broken and broke? Well, number one, it's broken is because Social Security was started during the Great Depression, 1935. This is why Social Security is even in existence, to take care of the least fortunate amongst us, the most vulnerable, a social safety net. That is, the people out there, you got your Social Security, you got your 401ks, you got your pensions, you got your other money and stuff. This is, you're also entitled to that money. You earn that money. But it's a social safety net for those that are most vulnerable. That's been the contract of Social Security since 1935. And this is breaking that contract. So it's broken for those people that need it most. And a lot of people out there will put in the comments, well, I got mine and I don't care. And well, then this might not be the channel for you. This channel, we look out for those that need help. So I'm going to be asking for your help to reach out to those people that are not able to make it to an office, that don't have internet access. Help them any way they possibly can. We're talking about elderly, disabled, the most vulnerable amongst us. And they say, this just nonchalantly says, yeah, just go down to your local Social Security office. You mean the Social Security offices that don't have any staff in them? Do you mean the Social Security offices that just closed? Do you mean the Social Security office is at 100 miles from where I live? And you mean the Social Security office that is, in Buffalo in 6 feet of snow? Do you mean the Social Security office in Phoenix where you have to wait outside at 130-degree temperature, where it's raining, and in Homestead you've got hurricanes and do you mean that Social Security office? And a lot of people also don't recognize that Social Security offices, they have 3 different types of staff in there. They have people that help with Title II, which is the Title II of the Social Security Act, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivor benefits, spouse benefits. You have Title 16 that works on SSI, supplemental security income. And then you have the regular customer service generalists. And the workloads are very complicated. So Congress made them complicated. And those 3 groups really can't do what the other group can do. So your office might look open, and then you go down there for whatever you need, and they say, well, all we have in the back are people that help people with SSI, welfare-based program. We don't have anybody that can take a survivor's claim or a disability SSDI claim or a retirement claim, or vice versa. They go down there and, so this is a terrible, and why I say it's broke as well. Social Security is not broke. Politicians have been saying that for a long time. Social Security has $2.6 trillion in the Social Security Trust Fund. Social Security gets, money every year from FICA taxes and, interest on, what we have in treasury bonds and all the rest of it. There are going to be cuts here in the future, but this is also a cut happening right now because it's broke for those people that need it the most. It doesn't matter how much Social Security has in the trust fund, in savings, trillions of dollars in the trust fund, doesn't matter. If you can't get to that money, it's, for all intents and purposes, broke. For you, it's broke. For those elderly people that, You've got someone just lost their spouse. They're 85 years old. They just lost their spouse. They lost their spouse's check. They need to file a claim, and they live 100 miles from the office, and it might be open, it might not. It's open, today, but it might not be open tomorrow because all the staff are quitting or being fired or let go or voluntold to leave the premises or whatever the case may be. And so that widower is going to be without a check for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And so this is where we need your help. We need you to reach out to everybody. Number one, reach out to your politicians and say, this is completely unsatisfactory. This is a broken contract between the Social Security, Congress, and the American public. When you paid your FICA taxes all those decades, that went into Social Security and Medicare. But in terms of Social Security, that went in there and says, hey, once I retire, when I turn 62 or 67 or become disabled or my surviving spouse needs it, you will have someone there to help me navigate the system to make sure I get the right check at the right time. And Congress and DOJ is breaking that contract with the American public. You are not able to get your benefits. And if you're watching this video, tomorrow, the next day, and say, I just went online and I got my money and everything's good, and Ed just a fear monger, and that's great. Congratulations. But what about the less fortunate? So that's what we need to look out for. So reach out to everybody you know. If someone loses a loved one, please help them. Go online, schedule an appointment, prove their ID online, take them down to the local Social Security office if they can't do that. If you see somebody disabled that is not able to go to a Social Security office, doesn't have internet access, please reach out to them and help them. We really need to join together and help as many people because we're being let down. All right. And this is, they're doing this for, again, fraud. It's just, a term they're throwing around. Prove how much fraud happened. There's more fraud happening. People receiving disability benefits that are not supposed to be receiving disability benefits that are working and stuff like that. The OIG, the Office of Inspector General, finds people, fraud, waste, and abuse all the time. DOJ hasn't found any yet. They're using fraud as an umbrella term to, block you from your benefits. And mark my words on this. Save this. A year, 2 years, 3 years from now, we're going to look back on this and we're going to find out this actually cost us. It always cost us, the American taxpayer, more than the supposed savings. All those people and all those agencies, including the Social Security Administration, that were on probation, that were fired for essentially no cause, they're going to come back and they're going to sue. Because just imagine if your son and daughter, very happy, they got a job at Social Security Administration or the Park Service, they're so happy, they've been wanting that job all their life, they move across the country or whatever the case may be, and they're there for about a year or two and they're doing a stellar job, and all of a sudden they're fired because they're doing a terrible job. That's what they were fired for. And so those people, and they can't get another job because it's, okay, what happened to your other job? Well, I fired because I was doing a terrible job. Okay, we're not going to hire you there. There's so many people out there like that. Those people, they come back and they're going to sue. The people that are on disability that can't get into an office or being denied their benefits, they're going to sue. The elderly that can't get their checks at the right time, they're going to sue because they lose their house, they're evicted, their electricity is turned off. People are going to, pass away at 120 degrees out there, don't have the electricity, can't get to the Social Security office to get their check turned on their money. Those people are going to sue. Their families are going to sue. This is going to cost us way, 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 way more than we're supposedly saving right now. But people that are making these decisions don't care. Because by then they'll have their tax cuts, and that's all they ever wanted was their tax cuts. So they'll get their tax cuts, and then we'll pay for it, and it'll be a snowball. And then Social Security, for instance, will be in a worse shape because we're going to have to spend all that money and the lawsuits and doing this and all that. And that's going to deteriorate customer service even more. And all right, let's get into some sorry, this is a terrible time. Anyway, all right, let's see if I can help some people get the benefits they need here. All right. I get direct deposit, both me and my mom yesterday. I mentioned the two individuals who got their benefits interrupted due. I am worried and concerned about the first and the third. Yeah. Hopefully, Social Security has been begging Congress for decades to give them resources to update their computer system, but Congress refuses because they don't want to fix it, because they want this to happen. And they've been keeping the computer system. I'm just amazed of, 90 years, Social Security hasn't missed a payment. And, over the last, decade or two, I'm amazed that they haven't, considering, these magicians working on the computer system with pretty much bubble gum and string have been keeping this thing together. But now that's the first office Doge went in there and fired, is those people that have been keeping the system together. And I don't know what to tell you. We just have to hope. Yeah. Signing up now at 64, how much is the penalty per year? Signing up for what? 64? Maybe you're talking about retirement benefits. There's no penalty. It's just if you sign up at Social Security benefits at 62, you're at your full reduction. So there is no penalty. Or maybe you're talking about you're working. Anything over 23,400, Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 you go over. Let's see here. My sister got her Social Security and beloved husband, she gets spouse. We both will get the Social Security help. Thank you, sir, for your help to everyone. Oh, okay. So you got some, perfect. You found out you had some benefits available to you, and you went out there, your sister went out there and got them. I like it. And again, as I always say, it's not me. It's all those people that press like and subscribe and shared, and that's how you got this channel and got the information, and your sister was able to help out. So it's all those awesome people that are sharing this channel. So how much time passed to see my Medicare Part B? My husband enrolled on February 14th to be effective May 2025, but we cannot receive any information. So Part B, so probably you had health insurance from current work, and then you signed for it afterwards. Those two forms, the 564 and the 40B. Under normal circumstances, I say you're going to start in May. I try to be an optimist here. You should be good. Just keep an eye on it. Remember, you also have to start looking for all the other things to cover the gaps of, original Medicare. So you can reach out to Chapter. And Chapter also has access to the Medicare system, so they can look in the system, and see if your card is on the way. So you can reach out to them and say, hey, is my card on the way? And by the way, what's a Plan N and what's a Plan G and what's all this other kind of stuff? So they can help you out. 100% free help. They work throughout the country. Thanks for all you do, doctor. I'm currently retired. Don't plan to work another job. Yeah, you and me both. That lasted about a week, and here I am. Should I file for Social Security? I'm now 62. You stated prior to that the FRA is an estimate if you continue to earn a wage. Yes. So yeah, you can definitely file at 62, start those benefits if you're not going to work anymore. But yes, the My Social Security account that you do online, that is an estimate. And the closer you get to your full retirement age, the more accurate it is. Because I'll give you an example. So if you're 55 years old and you go into My Social Security, which I recommend everybody do, especially now, considering if you don't, you might not get your money in time. If you're 55 and you go in there and you look at your benefit amounts at your full retirement age, 12 years in the future, Social Security is guesstimating based on what you're currently kind of earning. And they say, okay, if you're making $50,000, last year, we're going to pretend like you make for $50,000 this year and the next year, next year, and next year for the next 12 years. And based on that, here's how much you're going to be. So the closer you get to 67, probably your full retirement age, the more accurate it is. So in your case, 5 years is not going to be there anymore. So I'm not sure how much you made, but you can go in there and do a manual calculation. Actually, Chapter and I are possibly working on a calculator, something like that. So hopefully that comes to fruition here. So I'll keep you all posted. I was divorced in 2010 And at the time, my husband's income wasn't helpful to me. Since then, he's inherited a huge amount of money. Can I apply for whatever I deserve regarding this issue? Well, the inheritance of money doesn't affect Social Security benefits at all. And got inherited or whatever. But yeah, in terms of Social Security, that doesn't affect, because an inheritance doesn't increase his benefit amount from Social Security. But if you're entitled to the benefits, you were married to the person for 10 years, you're not currently married, you're 62, he's at least 62 years old, doesn't matter if he's receiving benefits or not, then you can collect benefits on his record. Absolutely. You have to file for benefits on your own record first. And your benefit amount has to be less than half of his. Again, your PIA, your primary insurance amount. Interesting. Who knew? Helpful info about survivor benefits. Good. Nelson, I called this local Social Security office. They verified that none medical was approved for SSDI, but won't be getting any payments until June. So close yet so far. Yeah, it's probably maybe the 5-month waiting period, or they're processing the claim, or whatever the case might be, right? Just found your channel earlier this week. First live, liked and subscribed. All right, Trisha, welcome. And this is not a passive thing where you just watch it and for your own purposes. Remember, you take this information, you go out there and share it, and ask people around and say, hey, are you getting benefits, and you're doing the right thing? Are you getting the right, so yes, this is a team effort. I don't think that inherent plays into Social Security. You are correct. Do SSA still send Form 1099 Social Security benefit statement for year 2024? Yes. If you didn't get your 1099, they've been working on doing the 1099 online, so you should be able to go online and get the 1099 for what you received from Social Security last year. And if for some reason you can't get it, then you'll have to go down to Social Security or call the 800 number, and they should be able to mail you one. And unless they change that policy too and just make everybody inundate the local Social Security office. So you go down to the local Social Security office and you can't get in, and if you finally get in, then you make a beeline to your congressional office and say, hey, since the Social Security office isn't open and you're responsible for providing resources to that Social Security office, then I'm coming to your office for help changing my direct deposit or filing for my retirement claims, or I'm gonna piss off a lot of politicians, but who would? Yeah. Can you explain DAC benefits? What happens if you're receiving DAC benefits from a parent who is still alive, but that parent passes? Okay. Hey, what's up, Trey? So disabled adult child benefits, those are from a parent that is receiving benefits, either retirement benefits or disability benefits, and you are disabled adult child benefits. So you became disabled under the age of 22. So if your parent is still out there alive and kicking, then you will receive 50%, up to 50% of their full benefit amount. When they pass, you'll receive 75%, up to 75%. So if there's only one person receiving those benefits, then you'll receive exactly 50% and 75% respectively. All right. Are we continuing receiving our Social Security check every month? As of right now, as of this exact moment, yes. The computer system as of right now is still up and functioning. For those people that are looking to go file for benefits, then we don't know. I already did that and waiting for the letter to prove my identity since computer didn't recognize my number. Yeah, they've got the ID me, and they just updated that system where you have to put your little ID on your face and they check it and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely recommend people go do that now, since again, this is way overkill. There's no rhyme or reason why they're doing this for people wanting to file new claims, because the incidence of fraud on something like that is so minuscule. It's 1,000 times more. It's not, I wouldn't say inconvenience. It's so 1,000 times more harmful for those people that can't get their benefits now. So it's just the motive is just, there's no there for that motive. So there has to be an alternate motive, and the only other motive is just blocking you from your benefits. Okay, if you're receiving Social Security, okay, our same question, yep. What do you do if you immediately repay an overpayment? Yeah, if you get an overpayment, you immediately pay it, then yep, no harm, no foul. Well, even if you set up a payment plan, no harm, no foul. Social Security, the Social Security employees don't look at you, bad. It's like, oh, you have an overpayment. They just, okay, you have an overpayment. How much you want to pay? Do you want to go ahead and pay it back? And so it's just, yeah, they've got 400 other cases to work on. So if they give you an attitude, then yeah, complain to the supervisor. But unfortunately, all the really, really good employees, are probably going to bail. Yeah, because they can get, they're really, really good employees and they get other jobs that, doesn't terrorize them, doesn't traumatize them. That's the word that the current Office of Management and Budget Director used. That's his plan, to traumatize federal employees so they will leave. Look it up. Taking early retirement and working part-time, if I make over $19.50 a couple of months, but I actually make less than $23,400 at the end of the year, will I still lose one for every $2 over the monthly limit? No. As long as you stay under the $23,400 for the year, it doesn't matter when you make it. If you make $23,400 in January and stop working, then yeah, so as long as you're under $23,400, it never switches to the monthly because it's not an issue. Will my Social Security payment be in my account tonight? Yeah, a lot of worries about this, but yeah, as of right now, nothing is, with current benefits, it doesn't look like the computer system is still up. So they just cut the staff and closed offices by quite a bit. Yes, and it's going to get worse. I reached out to some fellow coworkers throughout I worked at Social Security throughout the country, and I was on February 28th. I was talking to people, and they're like, Ed, we're having a party, going away party. It's not as festive as normal because this person didn't want to retire, but be that as may, spend 30 years, and so we're going to go ahead and have a party for them, I guess. So and that happened across the country February 28th because people usually leave at the end of the month. So if you have an appointment, this month or next few months, and a phone appointment or something, or if you even filed online, yeah, it's the person that was assigned that appointment this week or next month might now be gone. So will we be contacted by mail? The offices are closed. Will we be able to go online and email proof? No. Yeah, if the Social Security Administration requires you to get a new birth certificate or marriage certificate or divorce decree or something like that, no, they need to see the original. So you need to take it down to the local Social Security office. For some things like a DD-214 or W-2 or something like that, you can fax in. But everything else, they need to see the original. So you can mail it in. The original has to be the original. It can't be a notarized copy that you take down and someone notarized that this is, no, you can't do that. It has to be seen by a Social Security employee. The Social Security employee makes a copy of whatever it is. They stamp it, certify that it's an official copy, and then they hand your original back to you. Let's see. Survival benefits for kids stopped at 19. He doesn't graduate until June. I thought it was supposed to be 19 in 2 months. Yeah, they might be a little bit. Usually there's a couple of, usually they stop at, at your graduation. They're supposed to kind of leave it in there. There's kind of a gray area for that 2 months. So I would reach out to him and say, hey, he doesn't graduate till June. So they might, there used to be kind of a gray area. Maybe they have changed the policy, and yeah, every day is different. I went to the office, provided my ID, marriage license, my husband's death certificate. They made copies in February. I have a phone appointment for April 14th. Will this affect me? Hopefully not. Hopefully, when offices, managers schedule future appointments, they say, next week or next month, we still have, our 20, 30, 40, 50 employees. And so because we have this many employees, we're going to open this many appointments. And, so they do this a month or 2 months in advance. And then when it comes around, if all those employees are gone, then yeah. So don't be surprised if you don't actually get a call. If you do, then you're lucky. So I'm scared to give up my job since they're playing games with Social Security. Might not get a check, might have to go back to work after giving up my good job. Yeah, if you, and that's another thing is, if you're able to plan, or if you don't need the money for a few months, then all of this nightmare won't affect you. It doesn't sound like, hopefully. But for those people that, become disabled, have an accident, lose a loved one, lose their job, and they need, that's the contract. Social Security it's a safety net, and they need that money. Those are the people that are going to pay for these decisions that are being made. So, if you know that you're going to stop working in, 2 or 3 months, and then call Social Security and say, hey, I want my benefits to start in 3 months. And that way, you can, continue working. And if that time your boss says, oh, you're really retiring. So I've had this happen. Oh, but I can't really lose you. So I'll give you another, $100 an hour or something like that. And then you just call Social Security and say, forget about it. I'll, come back later. So Dr. Ed, is this breaking news only for new claims? If you've been getting benefits for a while, does it still apply? It's for new claims, for benefit claims, but yeah, it's kind of vague there. But as of right now, it looks like it's just for benefit claims or for direct deposit changes. So, but there's no telling, what else they're going to add on there. But as of right now, if you're currently receiving benefits, you should be good unless something changes. If you need to change your direct deposit, then it does apply to you. But if you're currently receiving benefits, you should be good, unless, again, they break the computer system. They're going to kill people by making old, fragile people come into an office that may be hundreds of miles away. Yes, and my particular office was in the desert, and we helped thousands of people a day that came into the office. But they've estimated it's going to be about another 70 to 80,000 people coming into offices throughout the country, and they just don't have the people for that. They didn't have the people before all of this, and now even more so. And if it's snowing out there, it's raining and thunder and lightning, and summer's coming upon us. This is not good. This is not good. If I do not need to change anything, I still need to go in to prove who I am. No, if you're currently receiving benefits, you're good. You should be good. Elon is a tech guy. I know he designed the new program. I always thought the future isn't for boomers. It's all AI run. The blackout program was part of this. Cut the phones and deal with AI. Yeah, it's funny. I did a video yesterday on AI. I took Elon Musk's Grok, his AI system, and I asked it a couple of questions about its boss's intentions on Social Security, and it gave me a pretty scary answer. So you can watch my video yesterday. But then I asked it the same question a few hours later, and it gave me a more favorable answer. So I think, AI knows who pays the bills. So it's become self-aware. Skynet is upon us, I guess. I don't know. Apparently, there are a lot of people calling their congressman because they mentioned it at one of the hearings I was watching. Yeah, that's the trick. Call your politicians, visit your local politician's office. And again, not just for you. If you're good, I'm going to get, a lot of, hate comments on my YouTube. Oh, you're just a fear monger. And it's like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah. For you, maybe because you're currently receiving benefits and nothing's changed and everything is beautiful with you and congratulations. But those people are not thinking about their family, friends, community, little old lady down the street. So, all right, let's see. Wouldn't Musk like to get his hands on the $2 trillion in the trust fund? Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's been the long play. I've got it in my YouTube channel. You can, in my description, it has the playbook that was written in the 1980s. And this is 100% going by the playbook. Don't fix the system, let it slowly deteriorate, wait for the crisis, and then take advantage of the crisis. And this is it. This is exactly the plan, and it's working to perfection. for them. Thank you so much for your great information and support in this time of confusion and concern. You're welcome. I'm going to be here, and hopefully, because of this, a lot of people reach out to the politicians and they walk this back, because this is a second attempt. They tried to.
Okay, guys. Let's see, can we find that second half?
They tried to end phone service completely, but then they got pushback. They said, no, you can't end phone service. You can't make people go. And this is their second attempt. Says, okay, well, if you don't let us end phone service, then we're going to pretend like there's a whole bunch of fraud. And so therefore that justifies us to make people go into the office, which, again, it's going to prevent a lot of people from getting their benefits, and people are going to hate Social Security and not trust it anymore. And they succeeded in exactly their plan. So can you clarify, if you don't have internet and you have to go onto an office, you still need to call first to make an appointment, right? Yes. There are exceptions based on a policy when they switched, because of the 50-year low in terms of staffing, they switched to basically an appointment only thing. But there are exceptions. If it's like a PR thing, if it's congressional, that means you called your congressperson and, the congressperson is involved. If it's a dire need, you're going to be homeless or evicted or something like that. They do have those exceptions in there. So maybe, if you have to go down to your local office and, you call and schedule an appointment, and your appointment isn't for a month or two, then call your congressperson and say, hey, I need my survivor benefits now. I need my disability now. I need this, that, or the other now. And then it becomes a congressional, and then we can, so I guess this is a workaround, right? And then you can go down there and say, hey, this is congressional interest. I have the letter, I have the email here from my congressperson that says I need front in line. Unfortunately, that's gonna hurt all those other people that are waiting. But if everybody did that, and criminal, what he is doing, Orange Cloud. Okay, let's see. I get my money on a Direct Express card. I'm 15 miles from a gas station. Okay, yeah. So the Direct Express, those are, for people that can't, don't have a bank account. They have this Direct Express type thing where Social Security can put money on that. But there's banks out there that. If you have, some type of credit issues or something like that, and a bank won't give you a bank account because of whatever issues, then, hopefully you've looked to other banks, because some banks will open an account for you. And because you can say, hey, this is federal funds. My Social Security check is going in there. And so I need direct deposit. And for that type of situation, sometimes some banks will open a bank account for you. So definitely check that out. That way, maybe that'll make your life a bit easier. If you call your Social Security office, it takes at least 3 hours for someone to pick up the phone. Yeah, and that's now. The office I ran, 3 more people are leaving this month. So they were already down 25% from the height, and now, we're looking, So Musk has said empathy is not good for society. This is why I don't want to hear he is doing it for catching fraud. Yeah, he said, the bane of Western civilization is empathy. I always thought it was the most positive thing of human civilization, but I guess I am not a genius. Is this bad situation more for people applying or people receiving okay? It's more for people that need help. Yes, if you don't need help from Social Security, then you should be good. And hopefully you don't need help. But if you need help filing a new claim, changing your direct deposit, updating your SSI, your living arrangement, you're changing, then it affects those people. So, and yes, appreciate your concern for the more vulnerable. And that was the entire purpose of Social Security to begin with, is to check, to people that lost their jobs or, the Great Depression and all this. Is this bad news affecting people applying and people already answered that a few times. Eddie, okay, I always like the negative ones. Eddie is a real clown. Nobody's losing their Social Security, and the fraud is enormous. Well, people lose their Social Security every day. Someone just came in and said they didn't, they lost Social Security, but luckily through the information provided, they were able to go get it. And fraud is enormous. Receipts, please. Go on to Doge website. How much fraud have they found? So how much fraud has Doge found? What, the billions of dollars that was supposedly found from these dead people, they have now said, oh, okay, all right, it's not the greatest fraud in history. Okay, they haven't found, one dime yet. So is there fraud in Social Security? Of course there is. People, filing for early retirement and then going back to work. It's not really fraud. They just, went back to work and they didn't notify Social Security, or they did and wasn't recorded or whatever. They get an overpayment. And but there are people that are receiving disability benefits and that shouldn't be receiving benefits. And all you have to do is look at the OIG website, the Office of the Inspector General, and you can see dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of cases of the OIG stopping people receiving Social Security benefits and all that kind of stuff. So there is fraud, but it's not enormous for Social Security. And Doge hasn't found any of it. Yeah, so they're terrible. Social Security employees have found a lot of fraud over the last 30 days, but Doge has come up completely empty. And that's the irony, with Social Security fraud, it's an individual thing. It's not sexy. It's not something, billions of dollars. It's okay. This person was receiving disability and, working on, somebody's roof and working at a, roofing company or cutting trees and had in a business and whatever the case may be. And Social Security sends out the CDR, the Continuing Disability Review, does the stuff. The OIG knocks on the door, does their surveillance, and that's how fraud is found on Social Security. Not, making up stories about, billions of dollars being given to this, it's so until you come up with the receipts. Eddie was my childhood name, so I'll accept that. When this is over, rewatch program and take a screenshot of what's on screen to save information. Yes. I hope I'm wrong on the thing about this is going to cost us more money than it saves, but I don't think I am. Because they're tearing it down, depriving a lot of people, and the chickens are going to come home to roost. And it always, when an employee starts work at Social Security, the number one thing they're told is don't make a mistake. Because when you make a mistake, it takes 10 times longer to fix it. If you pay somebody wrong or incorrect benefit or whatever the case may be, it'll eventually come back and we're going to make you fix it. So don't screw it up. Do it right the first time, because you've already got 400 other cases you have to work on. And if you have to untangle the mess you made last week or last month, it's going to be a nightmare for you. So don't screw it up. So.
Wow, guys. Wow. What information have we been receiving today from this this video? And I pray that you have really been enjoying it, and I pray that you will take heed to this information. In the chat, we put in scripture, Hosea 4:6, which says, "My people are destroyed due to a lack of knowledge." And then it goes on to say that we will eat the fruit thereof. We want to make sure that we just don't naively ignore things. There's been some, and this is current. This is happening right now. This is not like before. So make sure you check out Ed's website. He's constantly updating on what is happening with Social Security, and I'll make sure I put that in the description box. Let's talk about a couple of things here. The administrative changes the Social Security Administration is implementing, and this is very, very, very important, stricter identity verification measures to combat fraud. So while this aims to protect beneficiaries, it may pose challenges for caregivers assisting loved ones with Social Security matters. Let's see if we can find out exactly what they're saying here. Because as a caregiver, sometimes you have to be there for your loved one, okay, and you have to go maybe even in their stead to okay, some kind of way we can't get that. You have to go sometime maybe in their stead to do their paperwork and those kinds of things. So if you got to go and do their paperwork, you got to make sure you have your identity and make sure that you have their identity and make sure that you can prove exactly who your mom or dad or loved one is. And they're saying that you might have to have, let me see here, it's the original, you might have to have a copy of the original birth certificate, a copy of the original marriage certificate, or this kind of a thing. I don't think Ed just said on the video that they're not going to take like a photocopy of something. So you might want to make sure that you have those documents available when you take them down or when you go down. And if you don't want to, if they can even go, be it in wheelchair or be it in however, if they can even go to the place, and then you get there and find out that you don't have the proper um, verification for them, that can cause a pause, as he was saying earlier, in their benefits, because you don't want to have 2 or 3 months waiting on something that can be very devastating for a lot of people. So we want to make sure that we have that. It says Medicaid support for caregivers, although not directly tied to Social Security, says Medicare has introduced programs to educate and support family caregivers, including training for dementia care and other serious conditions. So this is very important as well. Um, we want to make sure that it's, it says the Social Security Fairness Act. This legislation eliminates the windfall elimination to provide which is abbreviated WEP, and Government Pensions Offset (GPO), which previously reduced benefits for certain public sector workers. This change could positively impact caregivers who work in roles not covered by Social Security, such as teachers or firefighters. Now, see, I didn't know that particular information. I don't know if there's more on that here. Sometimes you can get it and you can't. Let's see what we have. Okay. So it's going on to talk about the Fairness Act that Joe Biden signed, but I think this maybe has been rescinded, and that's why we're under Doge right now in what they're doing. So, yeah, that is not going to apply. So what we need to do is make sure that you contact your Social Security office, and I think you want to go online. I know I do, to www.gov.org, and I know many of you know how to get on there already, but just in case you haven't or you don't do too much on the computer, you should be able to go there and pull up your Social Security account, and it would have all of your Social Security history there. And again, now remember, Dr. Ed said if you're already getting your payments, you should be okay. It's still a good idea, though, and I know I'm going to do it as well, is, just go over and make sure you know that everything is okay. Now, we do have, where I live, a local office that you can go into, but the majority of the time you need to make an appointment. And with things that are changing as rapidly as they are right now, he just stated on the video, you should make an appointment first and then go, to make sure that you're going to be seen and you're not going to go get your loved one out in, or whatever you need to do as a caregiver, leave them, something to go down there, and you're there for hours and hours, or you actually don't even get seen. So we definitely don't want that to happen. So we got to plan ahead. We got to be wise with all of this, guys. Got to be wise. So this is not a fear tactic, exactly like the guy that did the Q&A when he said, this is just a fear tactic that Dr. Ed is doing. None of this is going on. Don't don't listen to stuff like that. Let's don't do that. We've been hoodwinked enough. Let's don't do stuff like that. Let's be wise. Um, I'm a strong believer that we walk by faith and not by foolishness. And the Bible tells us that knowledge is the beginning of wisdom. He wants us to know things. He doesn't want us to always be reacting to things. A lot of times we are reacting after something has happened, then we jump into gear. But I believe he also wants us to know ahead of time, and that's why we have to seek him and we pray and trust him to lead and guide us so that we will not be caught unaware. We don't want to be caught unaware. We don't want to be caught by surprise. And all of a sudden it's upon us and we're wondering what in the world to do. Thank you, Lord, for the thought that just came into my mind that it's raining today here in Rochester. So do I wait until it rains and then I rush down to buy an umbrella? Or do I buy an umbrella before it rains? So now, as I'm getting ready to go out, I should be able to just grab my umbrella or my hoodie or whatever I have to cover myself and go. See? So I truly believe he wants us to be prepared. He does not, God does not want his children to just be tossed to and fro. We don't know what's going on. He wants us to be in peace. And if we are all topsy-turvy and have no information, we're not keeping up with things, we don't know what's going on, we're hearing information that is mishap, we're not researching out anything, all because we're just saying it's too much going on, I just don't want to know. And then we get caught, and now we're wondering which way to go. And we don't want to be that way. I pray that we don't want to be that way. Me personally, I know I don't want to be that way. Um, these updates could provide financial relief and additional resources for caregivers, but they also highlight the need for advocacy to ensure accessibility and support for those navigating these systems. So we got to make sure that we stay on track. For us as Black caregivers, Black caregivers often face higher financial burdens due to systemic inequities. Proposed tax credit, like the Credit for Caring Act, could provide up to $5,000 in relief for eligible caregivers, helping to offset caregiving costs. We need to know about that. Um, Research highlights that Black beneficiaries often receive lower Social Security benefits due to wage gaps and employment disparities. So if we're not employed, are you employed, you're not employed, you're employed, you're not employed. But when you're not employed, you're not paying in. So there's going to be a zero when you go to your page on www.gov.gov.org and you pull up your page. There's going to be years that there will be zero. I know I have a couple of years there when I was out in school or dealing with something, there was no job there. So it'll be a zero there because you didn't pay in anything. Changes to benefit calculations and enhancements could help narrow these gaps. So we have to make sure that we watch, and make sure that our calculations are up to par. Okay, because they look at the whole deal. They look at the whole deal. All right. So we're not going to go to that one. Let's see if there's anything else we can cover here. All right. Efforts, community outreach. Efforts are being made to improve access to Social Security resources in underdeserved communities. I don't know exactly what. I'll have to do some research on that here in our community right here in Rochester, New York. I don't know about your community, but I don't know if there's a community outreach right now. I'm not aware of one, so I need to research that to see if there's any efforts being made because of the new changes in Social Security, and because we do have a high area here of caregiving and Black family givers. If there's any resources in the community, if there's any churches stepping up to address this issue, community centers, or what is happening with our local uh, politicians, if they're opening up something to help. This is something I'll need to search out, or we'll need to search out together. And if you have something that's already happening in your area, please leave a comment. Let me know. It says here, efforts are being made to improve access to Social Security resources in undeserved communities, including targeted outreach and education for Black caregivers. So if you got that going on, share it. I'm not the only one that see the comments. Other people see the comments, and it can bless them. So if you do know that, please share it, especially the ones of you that are located in the United States. And I really want to thank Gene for coming in today. I went over to your website, and I was very impressed. And I just want to say thank you. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks to everyone that come in, the new ones every day. We get somebody new stopping by. Thank you. Somebody liking, somebody coming in, somebody leaving a comment. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. My goal is to bring information that will help caregivers, family caregivers, but will target it and help Black family caregivers, because we must pull together. We have to get through these hard times. If we're going to do it by working together as a community and by praying and trusting in God. We've come before and we're going to do it again. These changes reflect a growing recognition of unique challenges faced by Black family caregivers. And I just want to know, how do you think these updates align with your needs of caregiver support? Did I bring anything that helped you? Let me know. I want to end with a encouraging word. I want to end with the scripture. I want to end with Psalms 34. Psalms 34. And King David says it was a prayer for deliverance. And he said, I will bless the Lord at all times. He said, his praise shall continually be in my mouth. It says, my soul shall make her boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. He said, oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. And I love this verse. I love this verse right here. I really love this verse, verse 4. He said, I sought the Lord, meaning he called out to God. He fasted, he prayed, he did whatever he needed to do, but he focused and meditated. He sought the Lord. He says, I sought the Lord. He said, and God heard him. I believe today we seek the Lord. God is hearing us. God will hear us. God hears and he answers prayers in each of our settings. He said, I sought the Lord and he heard me. And then he said he delivered. King David said, God delivered. From what? He said, he delivered me from all my fears. He delivered me from all my concerns. And he didn't just say one, but he said all. So I bring today our concerns with Social Security, our concerns with Medicare, our concerns with Medicaid, our concerns with whatever may come, that we will seek the Lord and we will know, like King David, that he will, he shall, he's able. He has a record where he never fails. Yes, 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 we're going to go through. We're going to go through. There's going to be trials. As a matter of fact, real quick, thank you, Lord. If you go down as you're reading Psalms 34 and you go to verse 19, he says, many. are the afflictions of the righteous. Mean we have many problems. We're in this world. We're not of this world, but we're in this world with everybody else. And he said, many of the afflictions of the righteous, right? He said, but, and you know, but is a conjunction, and everything before that can be, he said, but the Lord delivers them out of them all. Remember that. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to see you in our next video.